Last time at Dish with D. Ever notice how we come up with a million reasons why the scale went up, but only a few for why it went down? Today, I'm exposing my top 10 excuses for why I gain weight on plan. And trust me, you've probably used some of them too. Now, this is not a slam video. This is a realization video for why, we have to have we use these excuses for gaining weight instead of just saying, I wanted it. And make an adult decision to own it. Sometimes we like to blame this so it gets us off the hook. I don't want to get us off the hook. I don't want to get me off the hook anymore. Not that I've made any of these lately, but I've made them in the past, and that's why I could say it. I mean, I'm writing these down like, oh yeah, I've used that. Oh yeah, I've used that one many times. And I sit in a Weight Watchers meeting and I hear them too. So I know. So let's go through my top 10. Again, I hope this helps you realize that, oh my gosh, I've said that. Oh, I've done that. Not that you're right or wrong or anything. It's just sometimes we need to recognize our patterns and try to curb them a little bit. And I'm going to give you some tips on that one I give you for each excuse. And we're going to do a little bit different style. We're going to go around my house today. Each one's going to be in a different area of the house. I thought that would be fun. Let's take us out of the thing and let's go on a little tour. It is raining, so maybe I'll have my umbrella. We'll see. But the first one, now again, these are in no certain order, but my first one is always a favorite. I hear it a lot at Weight Watchers meetings. Too much fruit. I've had too much fruit. Oh my gosh, that scale went up because I had a whole watermelon. Too much fruit. I've had also too many carbs. Oh my gosh, I've had way too many carbs. Too many carbs. Too much fruit. Now, not saying that might be true though, because if you ever look at the carb count on fruit, the sugar count on fruit, it could be true, but sometimes is it always? I mean, if you didn't eat like 15 watermelons all week, you ate one, and it was within an 7-day period. So I don't know, but I know, like I said, for me, I use too much gluten. And I know that. And I do see, isn't it an excuse? Sure. Could I have not had that much gluten? I could have. I really could have cut back. So yeah, I've used the excuse for the types of foods that I'm eating. Too much fruit. And yet it's funny because did we gain weight eating fruit? That's what people like. That's their line. Did we ever gain that much weight eating fruit? Maybe. And I always say this too. As we use these excuses, we're going to also rationalize some of them and say, you know what? We're not the same person we were when we started. So yeah, maybe a whole watermelon at this weight does affect me. So these excuses can be valid too. They're not always just like, they could be valid. Like I said, if you're pre-diabetic, you're not processing sugars correctly, it may show on the scale. But for some, I don't know how true that is. But, because it could be valid for some, not valid for all. But again, it is an excuse. And sometimes we don't even really need them. Next one, it's just too hard. It's just too hard. I don't feel like tracking. I don't feel like thinking of the points or the calories or the macros. It's just too hard. It just overwhelmed me this week. I just didn't want to think about it. I just wanted to eat. Some days it's just, I can't think. It's just too hard. It's too hard to worry about what I'm eating. It's just too hard to think of everything. It's just too hard. It is hard. And it is hard. It is hard. It does take thought. It does take preparation. It does take, playing that deal meal. You have to know what you are able to eat, how much you can fit in. So yeah, it is hard. Nobody ever said it was easy. But yeah, it can get overwhelming. They do have apps that make things a lot easier. And like on Weight Watchers, we could take a picture of our meal and track it. It'll give us a generalization. It's helpful. I know, thinking of portions and this and that does take a lot of work. It does. Knowing what you're eating and being accountable isn't easy. You know what? Gaining weight is easy, but losing weight is not. So I feel like, yeah, it is hard. It is hard. And I would never trade it for anything, because if I didn't do the work, I wouldn't be sitting here. And it's worth every blood, sweat, and tear. But sometimes it is blood, sweat, and tears. It is just like pulling everything you have left out of you. Because guess what? This is not the only thing you do in life. Your whole life doesn't revolve around your eating. You have a family, you have a job, you have kids, you have pets. you just have a life. And yeah, it does take a lot of your time. Try to make it take all of your time. Try to set aside time to do this and then time to enjoy life, because life is short. So yes, it is hard, but we can do hard things. And in the end, you'll find that they're very much worth it. I get no support. I get zero support. I'm on this on my own. I feel like I'm on an island by myself. My husband brings home cakes, he brings home junk, and then he eats it in front of me. That is a very valid excuse. And for a lot of people, that is true. They don't have a good support system. They do have husbands that don't care. And these husbands, some of them are diabetic. I get that. And sometimes you have kids and you have families and they have food that they want to eat. Yeah, we don't always have the support we need. But on the flip side, we do have the internet now. We have YouTube, we have Facebook. We have Weight Watchers has Zooms. So most apps honestly have communities. I know Healthy has one. I mean, get involved in the community, chat in there, ask for help from somebody. I'm sure somebody out there will give you the help that you need. Join a good Facebook group. There are so many out there, and some are not that great. I will tell you that. But if you find one that, and you don't have to stay. You don't like it, you leave, because some of them are just spam groups. So go into groups that you find are helpful and, tag them for information. Use them. Put all your blood, heart, and tears in there, and somebody will be out there to support you. There's a whole internet community out there willing to help you. I know it's hard when our families aren't involved and they have all this food that really sets us off. The best advice I always give you is put it away. Give them a separate drawer or a cabinet where you don't have to stare at it, because they're going to bring their food in no matter what you say. It is. We have to learn to live in their world, unfortunately. And you know what? If you don't have it at home, there definitely is an internet support system out there for you. So you just have to find the right one. Y'all know Disherty's got her own Facebook group, but I try to keep it as spam free as I can. It's hard sometimes, but join us there. It's always linked in the description box below. Like I said, each app usually has a community. Weight Watchers has a good connect. It's kind of hard to follow sometimes, but it's there. And a lot of apps do have their own communities. So definitely try to look into those. And find your support out of your house, because if you're not getting it there, you also could look at your friend group. I don't know, sometimes friend groups are hard. I get that. So I always feel like you want like-minded people. So I always say find a really good Facebook group. I went on vacation. Oh my gosh, it was 8 days of just eating. That's true. You're on vacation, you should enjoy it. But I always say try to enjoy within reason. Yes, have the indulgences, but don't have a whole lot of them. Split desserts, split appetizers, try to do the best you can. Again, you're going to gain weight because you're away, and that's just normal. But you know what? Try to do it the best way. Try to do it the clean way. Don't go back to old habits, because it's so much harder to get back on plan when you've reached back into those bad habits where you're going to eat whatever you want and as much as you want. I'm not saying don't have ice cream every night, but maybe have a very child's cone so you could, shrink the portions. Portions help. So yeah, enjoy that vacation. But yeah, vacations can do it. I was on an 8-day cruise. I ate out all the time. Honestly, I kept active, but that's, you're away. You're not cooking your own food. You're not responsible for what's in it. But you just make the best choices with what you have, but also eat what you want within reason. Like if you want that fried fish combo, eat half of it and save the rest for the next day. You know what? Life is short. You only live YOLO. You only live once, and eat it in a healthier way, and maybe a little bit less is important. I ate out all week. So many people took me out to dinner and to lunch. All I did was eat out. That's why the scale is up. Okay, that could be true. Now, we know when we eat out, different things come into play. We didn't cook it. We don't know how they cooked it. But just because we eat out doesn't mean we need to order the fried fish combo. I mean, there's a lot of great things out there. We make excuses that I'm out. Do you realize on any plan, a beautiful piece of protein, fish, chicken, a steak is on plan. Now, granted, there are different sizes. I know that. And also the way it's prepared, like, I'm going to have chicken. I'm going to have a Parmesan. I don't mind a good chicken parm, but honestly, I don't want to worry about all that breading and being fried. I make chicken parm at home all the time. I air fry it, and I use panko breadcrumbs, so it's less destructive. And again, I don't really I don't really get chicken parm out, but a lot of people, my boys do. But then there's so many good things. Like, yes, you might be tired of grilled chicken. I get that. Get a piece of fish. Get a steak. A lot of people don't eat steak. They're afraid to eat meat. My gosh, a good lean steak is sometimes better for you than chicken or turkey, believe it or not. I mean, a good filet. I mean, good God. And you get a beautiful potato. Most places have baked potatoes. I know I'm tired of baked potatoes, but what I love to do is take off the centers and mix in some little sour cream. Yes, it's sour cream, but you're not doing that much of it. What's a tablespoon? Okay. A little salt and pepper. Sometimes just a little bit of Parmesan cheese. Most restaurants have it. Have at it. There's always a vegetable. I do avoid pastas when I'm out, only because it's not something that I'm geared towards anyway. I'm kind of pastaed out. So if I can get a vegetable and a potato in place of that, I opt for that. I enjoy it. Even if it's roasted potatoes, heck, even if it's French fries. I just said not to get the chicken parm, but the chicken parm is breaded, fried, and has sauce and cheese on it. I'm just not a chicken parm lover. But yeah, I'll even get a good French fry. Again, you don't have to eat the whole portion that is brought out to you. Know what the portions are. Take half. If it's huge, take half. Box it. You got lunch for the next day. So there is ways to eat out. I know the hardest part of eating out is the bread basket, which is an excuse. I had too much of the bread basket or the tortilla chips at Mexican restaurants. Yes, I've used that as an excuse because it's true. I eat too much. I will tell you, it depends on the chip. If it's chip worthy, eat it. If it's bread worthy, eat it. If it's not, if it's a bread you can get at home or like at your local bakery, like there's some restaurants that have like this like bread. I'm like, oh my God, I can get that at home. But there's some that make their own. There's this one that has the semolina bread. Yeah, I indulge because it's semolina bread. I don't get that all the time. So it's excuses, but that's a valid. These are valid. You want them to be valid, not like, oh, I ain't out, so I had to get the fried fish. I don't like fish broiled. Have you ever tried it? I think it's delicious. I feel like when you're getting broiled fish, you taste the fish. When you're getting fried fish, you taste the fried batter. And sometimes they don't clean their fryers, and that fish has no taste. Ugh. So yeah, fun fact, I would get broiled fish when I was off glam. When I was at my 270, I was getting broiled fish. I thought it tasted better because it does. Throw fresh lemon juice on there. Oh my gosh, it's so good. You know, because I think we're so geared to if somebody else at that table orders that, and then also when eating out, do you find that you feel compelled to eat what they're eating because you don't want them to look at you strange? Well, everybody's getting the fried fish. I guess I should get it. I don't want to stick out. Who cares about sticking out? You're sticking out for your health. So you need to, put big girl panties on and think for yourself. Think about you. Put you first. Because I know it's hard. I know it's hard because you don't want to like break the norm of everybody, but you have to do what's best for you. And sometimes getting something that's, it's just as equally delicious. I hate when they say it's not going to be as good, because it is. And sometimes you got to go for the hush puppies, because you're at a good fish place. Go for the hush puppies instead of the fried fish. You'll thank me later. They're dang good. But yeah, definitely make the best choices that you can. You're going to have, this is never going to be perfect because you're out. It is never going to be perfect. But how could it be better? And I know you can make better choices out. I know, I know you can. Sometimes we're like, and some people don't get out much. So when they get out, they want to just eat. I get that. I do. But I'm telling you, it's so much harder to get back after you do that. And like I said, have a dessert. Just share it. Sometimes they have pudding on the menu, ice cream on the dessert menu. And a lot of times it's homemade and maybe it's not. I would opt for that rather than the cakes and they're always like filled with cream cheese, like a cheesecake, chocolate cake situation. Try to see if they have like a rice pudding or a pudding or an ice cream scoop. So this way you have something. If you don't want to feel like you're the oddball at the table, everybody's getting dessert but me, I always ask, anybody want to share? Sometimes you'll get somebody, oh yeah, I'll share. And if they don't, then you get something lighter. Like I know it's ice cream. That's a light option. For some restaurants it is. But don't always use I went out to eat as an excuse. It's, I ate out. I ate out the night before a wedding. That's why I gained weight. Well, there is extra, other things in the foods that are made at restaurants. Then you make it. You can't control what they put in at a restaurant. You can't. You could sit there and tell them no oil, no butter, yada, yada, yada. It doesn't always happen. But it doesn't hurt to ask. So make the better swaps. Another reason is sadness, depression. Something in our life is upsetting us, and we tend to turn to food. it's an emotional thing. And, oh, I gained because, oh, it just was a bad week. So-and-so said this, or so-and-so said this, or so-and-so died, uh, and so-and-so lost their job. And if eating would help any of those situations, I'd tell you to do it. I would. I'd be like, oh my gosh, eat. But honestly, it's not going to solve anybody's situation. It's not. It's going to make you momentarily feel better. And then after you're done, you're going to feel sad and depressed even more, because not only did you have this bad situation, now you have this, extra calories you're going to have to find a way to get rid of. I got to exercise more, or I got to do this, or I got to not eat all day tomorrow. And that's not, the best thing to do, but I get it. And sadness is a very valid excuse. It is. And depression is a very valid excuse. We've got to find ways to do something in place of food. I always say watch a happy movie on Netflix. Sometimes that helps. But yeah, it is definitely these are all valid reasons. But this one is especially valid because nobody wants to be sad and depressed. And life sucks most of the time. So yeah, I definitely give you a pass on that one. But there is, other things to do and different ways to cope. You got to find them. The next one, lack of movement. I didn't do my walking. I didn't get my steps in this week as I walk. And that's a very valid reason, but isn't an excuse. Did you really not get those steps in? Or did you on purpose not get those steps in? But yes, I gained because I didn't get my 10,000 steps a day in. That's why I gained. I didn't get my 10,000 steps in, which again, is a very valid reason, because if your body's used to all that exercise and you don't do it, I do believe it will show up on the scale. Unfortunately, I feel like exercise gives you that backlash effect. It works, and then when you stop doing it, it's like, we don't know how to burn calories. I think your body does adjust if you decide to stop exercising eventually. But I think in the beginning, if you're a very hardcore exerciser, especially cardio, and you stop your cardio, I do believe that, yes, your body will revolt a little bit and be like, yeah, no. But then again, it adjusts like anything else. But yes, lack of movement is a very valid excuse, and true. But we use that sometimes like, oh, I didn't get my 10. I got 9,000 instead of 10,000 a day in steps. Don't know if that's valid, but yeah, you know what? We use what we use. I've been there, done that, used that excuse many times. I just wanted it. I don't know what was wrong with me this week. I wanted it and I ate it. Everything that I wanted, I ate this week. I couldn't stop myself. Before I knew it was inside my mouth and I was chewing it and swallowing it. I don't know what got into me. What just happened? Sometimes we mindlessly eat. I mean, sometimes we know when we're doing it, at least the first time, and how do we let it happen second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, a whole week? I just wanted it. And sometimes you just need a week off plan. Right or wrong, yes or no, you do. Sometimes you just beware that it's very hard to get back on. And when you go back into old habits, yeah, it's not something I would recommend that you do, but I get people who just need that week away and that week to have that old life back for whatever reason. I personally wouldn't do it for a whole week, but I know people that have. They've actually done it for months. They just up and quit because, again, for all these reasons, and like I said, they're all valid reasons. But yeah, I just wanted it. I just wanted to do it. I just wanted to eat it. I just wanted to do that. I just want to get that triple decker sundae. Sometimes we have to learn how to minimize those. It's hard. I'm going to never sit here and tell you that I have all the answers, because I don't. But I have used all these excuses more than one occasion, and I do know that it can get better if we take steps to make it better. Oh my gosh, I had way too much salt. I had the pretzels. There was the pretzels that did it. It was the salt. Oh my gosh, I could feel my rings are tight. I can't close my hands, my ankles. I got cankles. I've had way too much salt. It's the salt. It's the sodium. I know it's the sodium. And it very well could be the sodium. It can, because salt is something that will put weight on you pretty quickly. But my biggest tip for that is always drink. And that's going to be our next tip, because it helps flush out the salt. If you're on a water pill, now my mother did not know this, you have to drink. You think to yourself, why would I drink if I'm on a diuretic? Doesn't make sense. I'm trying to get rid of fluid. But the pill works better when you flush through. So yes, sodium is a killer. And if you're eating out, you have no control of the salt that they use. You don't. You could sit there and maybe ask them not to put any salt on it. I can't guarantee that they do. Sometimes it's in a marinade or something. It's salt heaven. And if you're away for the whole week, You could be perfectly on plan. You could be the ace angel and still gain weight because of the salt in the food, because we just can't control what's in it. And it's okay, because guess what? Salt weight does go away the next week. If we properly flush it out, it will go away. So there is a silver lining in the sodium one. You can really flush it through. So if you know you're going to have something high in salt, flush it through. You heard it here. Flush like a toilet. I didn't get my water in this week. I know I didn't get my water in. That's got to be why I gained weight. I didn't get my water every day. I didn't get my 30,000 ounces in of water. I didn't do it. Scales up because I didn't get my water in. That could be a very valid excuse. And if your body's used to having X amount of water and you don't give it to it, and you're having a lot of salt, yes, it could show up on the scale. It's one of those things that once you start something like exercise, water, you really should, your body just gets used to it and it expects it and it works better with it. So yeah, it could affect you on the scale. It's a very valid excuse. Excuse, yes, but I think that's one of the big valid ones as well. Because yes, if you don't get the water that your body's used to, it can show up on the scale. Sad but true. Sad but true. But yeah, I've seen people, I didn't get my water. And especially if you're away, you don't have access to a bathroom. If you don't have access to a bathroom, I guarantee you're not drinking your water, because nobody needs to have a full bladder and not be able to anywhere to go. I know. I can understand that, because you want to have access to a bathroom. So when you're in your regular routine and you're home and you're doing your thing, you have access to your bathroom all the time. So yeah, so drink up, my lovelies. It does the body good. It does the body good. And yeah, flush out that salt. I do a green tea flush every day before weigh-in. I just get green tea. I drink about 30 ounces to 35 of green tea, unsweetened. And it does help flush you out, along with my water too. I try to get in about, I'm probably up to maybe 45 ounces of water. Definite. Like, I don't want to say, 60, because I don't think I always get 60, but I definitely get around 40 of just water. I'm making my way there, but you have to do things for me in stages, because if I just go from 0 to 60 ounces, it's not sustainable for me. So I just, my 30-ounce Stanley, I go for 1.5 of these a day, maybe a little over than 40, but I do have ice in here, so remember, the ice melts. So, but that is a very valid reason, and something also that you can work on to improve that. But yeah, if you're used to drinking X and you stop for whatever reason, you're away, you're at somebody else's house, you're out and about, you're on a vacation where you're just always on the go, you don't want to drink a lot of water because you don't know where the next bathroom is. Totally understand that, because if you drink X amount of water, you can't find a bathroom, never ends well. So there you have it. We're back in the basement. I was going to film this while I filmed the intro. I probably should have. I had to come all the way back down. Hair's a little bit, you can see the hair's a little bit different because I got wet. So there you have my top 10 excuses why I gained this week. You know what? I've used every one of them. I have. So you're not wrong for using them, but identify why you use them. And it's pretty normal. But sometimes, like I said, I try to give flip sides to what we could have done with that excuse and to prevent it. Again, it's growth. You'll get there. If you're like, oh my God, I wish I could think like you. You can't until you get where I'm at. We are in different, seasons of our journey. Like, there's the beginning, there's the middle, there's the end. There's never an end. There's the beginning, there's the middle, there's the, the maintenance. I'm sort of like in maintenance, trying to lose, now it's 15 pounds. But we're getting there, and even when you're at goal, you're never done. You always have to, for most people, I can't speak for everyone, I can only speak for me actually, is sometimes I'm always going to have to be mindful. I'm always going to have to be mindful of these triggers that happen. And some of them are set off by things, and you have to just be aware. Just be aware. And I hope this helps somebody. I hope these things, because a lot of people, I love doing these, because even if one person says, oh my gosh, I needed to hear that today, that made it all worth it. So this is a fun little way too. I thought this was fun to do a top 10 in different locations around. I would have went further, but it is raining. I would have went probably to the corner and stuff, but it was raining. So I did get to the car, the front of the driveway, the 2 parts of the backyard, 2 parts of the deck. Just, trying to make it, I just wanted to do something fun. I thought this would be fun just to go to different sections. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope like I said, I hope it helped somebody. I hope, it resonated. And let me know in the comment section below if you use any of these excuses. You know, we all been there. We all done that. Sometimes it's like, sometimes I think we use it as a coping mechanism. Yes, I ate wrong, but I have to vent why I think I did it. Like, we have to give a reason. You don't really have to. That's the bottom line. You don't have to. When I get weighed, I don't sit there and say, oh, that, I thank them for weighing me and I walk away. There's no, it doesn't, in the end, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what happened. You just need to make better choices from then on out. Like, okay, I've got this new weight. Where do I go from here? We don't need to think about what we did last week. We want to think about, well, live in the now, live in the today. Sometimes to look back for different things is good, but sometimes when it's a negative, it's not always good. We have to learn from our mistakes. What could I have done better? You know, when you're in that situation again, like, what could I have done? Should I have stayed up for myself? Should I have said something? Should I have made a better choice at that restaurant? I didn't really have to get that. Sometimes when my dad used to say, you get a willy for something. Sometimes you just need to taste it. And that's okay, occasionally. You know, just don't make it a habit. And like I said, you could split it with somebody, say, hey, can we split this and split that? You never know. Especially if they're with people that are friendly with you, that have your best interest at heart, that, you know, are there for you. We'll definitely try to help you as best. I know they will. And there's some that aren't. And that's, how do you maneuver around those people? That's a whole other video. I've done many videos about this negative people in your life that, you know, want you for some reason that's really not a valid reason, but that's all. If you want me to talk about that, we could. I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment below. Give it a big old thumbs up. If you are new here and enjoyed this, please hit that subscribe button. Join us here Dish with Dee, where we are heading towards September reset. We're going to be doing what I eat in a days every day for the month of September. We'll see how well I do that. I think I can do it because I can make them short. They don't have to be 20 minutes. They could be like an 8-minute video, you know, of just breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. It doesn't have to be, I don't have to sit there and chit chat. It's hard for me not to, but I can make it quick. I can work on that. So I will see you in a video, my lovies, very soon. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your week. I will see you Friday for the vlog. If you did not see, I did post my Weight Watchers Weekly Mini Technique on Monday. So go check that out if you haven't seen that. I have a birthday cake video that I made for myself. It was a banana, coconut, pineapple cake. It was delicious. Very low in points. We have a protein tea biscuit that I made. Very super. Again, you're not sacrificing taste in any of the recipes that I make. They're always good and always satisfying. I love when people make them for people that aren't on a weight loss journey and they come back and they say they loved it. Of course, because I don't make anything bad. The dessert hummuses, I have a whole dessert hummus playlist. And people will never know that they're Weight Watcher friendly. They're delicious. I get asked to make them all the time. So that is it for me. I can talk. See what I mean? I can't stop talking. I will see you, my lovelies. Have a great rest of your week.